The 2024 football championship is here. We are in Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island. Central Connecticut State out of the Northeast Conference taking on 10-seeded Rhode Island, the Rams from the CAA. And the winner of this football game will advance to Macon, Georgia next weekend to take on the 7th-seeded Mercer football team for a spot in the quarterfinals 2 weeks from now. And welcome, everybody, along with Forrest Connolly. I'm Doug Sherman. So glad you're with us here today for this matchup between two programs that are in the midst of memorable seasons. For Central Connecticut State, they were picked last in the NEC preseason, but a 4-game winning streak has them in the national tournament. And on the other side, Rhode Island is in the midst of a historic season. First time to reach this point in 39 years.
You said it, Doug. 1985, 84, 85 was the last time this team won 10 football games. They've won 10 games this season. This team is also undefeated at home. So it's going to be interesting to watch this ball club as they face a team that was picked to finish last in their conference that is here today in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, Forrest, the matchup I know you are looking at is this Rhode Island defense against the offense of the Blue Devils. Well,
when you look at this Rhode Island defense, they have 44 tackles for loss. From the second level of their defense, that's the linebackers. To go along with that 44 tackles for loss, they've got 20 and a half sacks and 11 quarterback hurries. But they face an offensive line that's only given up 7 sacks this season. And as a former offensive lineman, I know how in high regard you hold keeping your quarterback safe. So it'll be interesting. 344 passes, attempts, 7 sacks allowed. That is superior by this offensive line.
.41 degrees, mostly sunny skies. The breeze, the wind could be a factor on a perfect afternoon for football here in New England in late November. Central Connecticut State comes in with a 7-5 record. They've won 4 in a row. The last month they have played clean football, and that is what that man, Jim Fleming, is going to have to deal with. The 11th year head coach of the Rhode Island Rams. They come in 10-2 overall, 7-1. Their only losses this year at Minnesota and at Delaware, a team transitioning from FCS up to FBS. They are undefeated at the FCS level so far this season.
And when you look at that Delaware game, that was a close football game. They did not lose that game by much. They competed and were in that game only losing by 3 points. So that lets you know the capability of this football team when they get it all going.
Central Connecticut State won the toss and is elected to kick off. Deion Silas is back deep to receive for URI. Jack Barnum, one of the captains of the team for CCSU, to kick things off. Not often you have a place kicker as your captain. He boots it deep and into the end zone for a touchback. Rhode Island's offense, with some tempers flaring after that kickoff, is led by Hunter Helms, a Clemson grad transfer from West Columbia, South Carolina. He was the number 2 quarterback on the depth chart for most of the season for us. Devin Farrell, though, out with an injury. He had surgery on his right hand and won't return this season. So what do we expect out of Hunter Helms here today?
It'll be interesting to see what Hunter Helms can do for this ball club. He doesn't run as effectively as Farrell, but he can pass the ball down the field. He can get vertical with that pass game. And
the running back is Malik Grant. Averages over 5 yards per carry. He gets the football on first down and picks up a couple. Tackle made by Davion Ames.
One of the things to look for with Malik Grant, he's got really good stop-and-go ability. You saw on that play he was able to read what the blocking scheme gave him, bounce it to the outside, and get positive yards.
Keep an eye on number 1 in blue, Marquise Buchanan, the big play receiver, a 6'4", 175-pound redshirt sophomore from just up the road in Providence. To throw the football on second down, Helms going to now run it. Gets stuck at about the 29-yard line, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 6. Tackle made by Malachi Wright.
And a good job by Helm on that play. He did not see what he liked And coaches always talk to quarterbacks about taking what the defense gives you. Some of the things that they talked to us about this week, Doug, was Helm sometimes makes bonehead plays and tries to fit it in. So that's a good look for them early in this ballgame.
Yeah, 6 interceptions to 3 touchdowns on the season for Hunter Helms is an indication. And let's see what he's got on 3rd down out of an empty set. Clean pocket, throws right side, incomplete. Good coverage along that sideline, trying to find Marquise Buchanan, but he has the pass broken up to bring up 4th down.
And a good job by Gavin Bryson to break on that football, get a hand in there and knock it out. It looked like this was going to be a 1st down, but you see right there, he arrives right as the football gets there to be able to knock that out and not allow the receiver to squeeze that football.
Fair catch, called for and made by Michael Plaskin. And again, a little extra. Moses Muse in coverage for URI. Had a couple of words for Plaskin. I'm glad to see these teams are ready to go. Fired up with a spot in the 2nd round on the line. Again, just a historic season. And for Central Connecticut State, one of their captains is their quarterback, Brady Olson, a UMass transfer who has done just what Adam Lechtenberg and company has needed out of him this year. He spent 3 years in Amherst, Mass. with the Minutemen, but played in only 1 game last year and hit the portal. And has stepped in nicely on 1st down. Carry the football. Elijah Howard, the NEC Co-Offensive Player of the Year. He was a runaway winner of that award for us.
And the thing about Elijah Howard, you cannot allow him to get into the open field. This is a kid that ran 10.400 as a youth sprinter. So he has the speed when he gets to the outside. You saw the bounce out ability on that play.
Number 1 in the NEC in total yardage per game, over 106 yards. Fake the handoff to him. Olson goes down the middle, has a tight end on the seam route. Sean O'Brien, a huge target at 6'7", couldn't catch up with the pass.
And that is the matchup that they wanted. You've got him matched up against a linebacker, Devin Hightower. All Olson has to do is put a little bit more air under the football and lead his tight end. He was behind the linebacker. Just put a little more air under it and allow the tight end to run under it.
So that'll bring up 3rd down and 5. The line to gain is the 44-yard line. Keep an eye on number 8 in blue, A.J. Pena. 10.5 sacks on the year. Instead, they pass away the other way, and it's a big play down the right sideline to Elijah Howard. Whatever they've got to do, put the football in number 7's hands.
And that was a great job by Brady Olson. What he did was he looked the safety off, paying attention to number 81, Dave Pardo, who was coming on a deep crossing route. As he looked that safety off, he was able to get the ball to the outside to Howard, and we talked about his speed when he gets the ball in the open field. He's able to get that 1st down. So a good job by Olson looking off that safety, giving Howard that space that he needed on the outside.
Olson hands it off, cut outside Howard, and he is dropped. Cole Brockwell, a redshirt senior who's a wonderful story, 6th year Rhode Island Ram, with his first tackle of the afternoon. Yeah, talked about this linebacking core. Pena has 10.5 sacks. We've seen Brockwell, redshirt senior from Westport, Connecticut. Handed off, running left. Donnie Marcus cuts it up, tackled at the 33-yard line. Devin Hightower, one of the linebackers, coming up to make the stop.
And a good job by the offensive line. You see the shift prior to the snap of the football. They shifted towards where the blitz was coming from. Olson was able to read that, get that shift over there, get the necessary blocking in front of your back to get positive yards. If they don't make that shift, I think that's a tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
On 3rd and 7, Brady Olson fires over the middle, tipped and intercepted. The Rams defense with a takeaway.
And I thought Olsen rushed that pass. He had blocking. He had the protection that he needed. I thought he should have waited. He would have had a matchup. You just have to allow those matchups to maturate, and allow the receiver to get to the top of their route.
DJ Curitin with the interception as the Rams defense comes up with the first big play of the afternoon. Central Connecticut State and Rhode Island scoreless, just underway here in Kingston, Rhode Island. With Forrest Connolly, I'm Doug Sherman. And for Rhode Island, it has been a historic season. 10-2, 7-1 in league play. The first league championship in 39 years. And for that man, Jim Fleming, when he took over the program, huge hole up the middle. Malik Grant out across midfield and tackled at about the 45-yard line. The Rams are on the move, and if not for Kamal Clark, that would have been a touchdown run. And
they caught Central in the cover one. They shifted to a cover one at the snap of the football, and as Clark was fading towards the middle of the field, you saw Grant get to the outside. If Clark doesn't make that tackle, there's no one else left because there's only one deep safety.
Give it right back to him. This time he is stood up at the line of scrimmage. Cliff Thompson, a junior from Hackensack, New Jersey, with the tackle.
And again, you see Kamal Clark fade back, and Malik Grant comes around that edge, around the right side of the offensive line, and there's no one there. So that's the danger when you play cover one with one deep safety. That safety has to make the tackle.
Greg Gaines, the receiver, to the bottom of the screen. Buchanan to the top, trying to find one of his big play receivers, Hunter Helms, but he is drilled at midfield and just throws the football incomplete. Tommy Smith, the intended receiver, but he was nowhere near. It was just cut bait for Hunter Helms.
And the left tackle, number 79, needs to do a better job of getting inside hands and getting pushed at the point of attack. He cannot allow the defensive end to push him back into the pocket. You want to give the quarterback a place to step up and throw the football.
But Tristan Armstrong was zeroing in from his cornerback position to now bring up 3rd down and 10. Looks over the middle, throws as a wide-open receiver, Tommy Smith. Since he got here 6 years ago, his nickname has been Touchdown Tommy. He is a do-everything piece for the Rhode Island Rams.
He'll play in the slot. They'll split him out. He can do it all. He can lead block. And you see on this play, they went 5 wide. So what they're doing, they're spreading the Central Connecticut defense out. And Helms is doing a good job of finding the matchup and finding the open receiver.
19-yard pickup from Helms to Smith. Helms fakes the handoff. Now checks it down to Buchanan, but he's double teamed and dropped immediately at about the 22-yard line. Chris Jean, the Northeast Conference Defensive Rookie of the Year, among those ready for that play.
And on that play, Central Connecticut was not fooled. A good job on the outside, fighting through the would-be blocker, Sean Harris, to get on top of that tackle and make that tackle.
Gabe Sloat, the running back, now flanking Hunter Helms. Sloat is another one of these program guys. A 6th-year Rhode Island Ram playing his 46th career game. The snap is fumbled. Hunter Helms does a nice job just to drop on it, but it is a loss on the play to bring up 3rd and long.
And he was trying to get the ball to Sean Harris on the jet sweep. Harris is the fastest receiver on the team. They're trying to get out on that edge, but you've got to make sure that exchange is correct. It looked like the ball slipped out of Helms' hands as he was trying to get it over to Sean Harris.
That snap is coming from a 3rd-team All-Conference center, Trey Alexander. Brock Bethea, the left tackle, also on the All-CAA awards list this season. After a loss of 6, the motion man is Harris, the speedster. Helms being chased immediately. Gets rid of the football, and it's incomplete. That was Malachi Wright, the junior from West Haven, Connecticut, who got into the offensive backfield right now.
Dangerous pass attempt by Hunter Helms. First, when you look, there's immediate pressure. They went with the TE twist. The offensive lineman did not pick it up as well as they usually do. But right here, throwing back across your body, you should not ever do that. And coaches always tell quarterbacks, don't throw that. They would rather for him to run out of bounds or just throw the ball out of bounds, but don't throw it back against your body.
So a 45-yard field goal attempt. The long this year for Groff is 35, and again it is blocked. This has been a problem all season long for URI. Head coach Jim Fleming told us this week it's been a combination of deficiencies. They've been tweaking it. But when we asked him earlier this week about special teams, this is the first thing he mentioned, and it is continuing to be a problem. The Rams have their first attempt at a field goal denied at the line of scrimmage. Adam Lechtenberg and his Blue Devils from Central Connecticut State. The automatic qualifiers out of the Northeast Conference this year. Duquesne was the preseason favorite, but they beat the Dukes last weekend to get to this point. And after the blocked field goal by Chris Jean, this team, led by running back Elijah Howard, is in position to make it to the second round of the playoffs. And they were not supposed to be here, but they cleaned things up dramatically on the field in the last month, limiting turnovers and forcing turnovers on the flip side. Michael Plaskin with his first reception of the day.
And they've done a good job of continuing to play through it. You cannot worry about the hard times. You learn from those hard times to have better times, and that's what this program has done. They learn from some of those losses to go out, and you have to learn how to win a lot of times. And this team, I think, has learned how to win throughout this season.
And I imagine this team gets a lot of its identity from its second-year head coach, Adam Lechtenberg, who is a product of that noted Nebraska walk-on program. URI's defense up for the challenge there. It's a loss of 6 on the play. Swarming defense led by Gabe Salamans, the senior linebacker from West Hartford, Connecticut.
And this is the first time that we've seen Rhode Island do what the coaching staff talked about in this football game that they wanted to see. They said they needed to strike and knock people back and then have good run fits. And they did all 3 of those intangibles on this play. You saw them strike those offensive linemen. They were able to move people backwards, and they had the run fits necessary to make the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
And now we introduce you to maybe the largest punter in the country. Aiden Clark, a senior from Tolland, Connecticut, 6'3", 250 pounds. He's got good hands, handles that snap, gets the punt away, and it will trickle out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Well, I mentioned Lechtenberg is a former Nebraska Cornhusker. He's a 45-year-old native of Butte, Nebraska. But Lechtenberg told us this week he was a walk-on during the Frank Solich era, but he never got close to the field. He didn't want to give the impression that he was going to be one of those former walk-ons playing a big role.
But I want to give love to the walk-ons, because without walk-ons, teams cannot be great. They have to give you great looks throughout the season. And I think walk-ons make some of the better coaches, because they're going through different looks and showing different looks every week.
And so now his defense onto the field as Rhode Island's offense, led by quarterback Hunter Helms, from their 20-yard line, going to run it on first down. Malik Grant, as soon as he took the handoff, was pressured and had nowhere to go.
And a good job by Sherrod Watkins, number 93. The big fella was able to break through, disrupt the running path of Malik Grant, which allowed pursuit to get there. He didn't necessarily make the play, but he made the play happen with his immediate pressure getting up the field.
Watkins, a junior from Rochester, New York, out of UPrep Charter School. Grant drives the pile out to the 26-yard line. Gain of 6 on the play to bring up third down and 4.
If you see the adjustment that Central Connecticut has made, they're now showing 2 deep safeties. I think that one deep safety where Grant was able to get around the edge and get up the field scared them enough where they understand you got to have 2 deep safeties with that running back there.
Well, Grant is legit, rushing for over 1,100 yards this season. 5'9", 190-pound grad transfer from the Bronx. A bullet thrown over the middle and a diving catch at the 45-yard line. Greg Gaines the third. The Iowa State transfer with his first big play of the afternoon.
And a good job by Helms and Gaines to find the open area in the zone, and he put the ball where only Gaines could make a play on it. Good job by Gaines getting down and grabbing that football.
19-yard pickup, and on first down, the completion is made. Ball came loose. Central Connecticut State thinks it has the football. No signal yet from the officials. They confer. It looks like he wants to point the Blue Devils' way, but hasn't done it yet.
The ruling on the field is a catch, a fumble, and a recovery by the defense. First down, Central Connecticut State.
They really made that suspenseful.
They did. The referee said, don't signal. I want to have the news. I want to share it. Central Connecticut State has a blocked field goal and now a forced fumble recovery to set themselves up in tremendous field position. With Forrest Connolly, I'm Doug Sherman back at the University of Rhode Island, where the Rams wide receiver Marquise Buchanan was called for having fumbled the football, recovered by Central Connecticut, but on review, we're not so sure, right, Fo?
No, I see the elbow hit and the ground forced the ball out. So I don't think that this is a fumble.
Well, they have to see indisputable video evidence, the officials and the replay officials, to overturn the call on the field, which was a fumble recovered by the Blue Devils.
If you see right there, the ball is secure until he hits the ground. The ball is not beginning to move until it hits the ground.
This would be the 16th fumble of the year for Rhody. For this program that dates back to 1895, but just their fourth trip to the 1AA or FCS playoffs, and not since the 1980s. They went in 81, 84, and 85, and not in the last 39 years until this year. And here is the determination.
The receiver did catch the ball. However, his elbow was down prior to ball coming loose. It'll be second down, Rhode Island.
The folks here in Kingston approve.
And a good job by the officials. I like the way that they conferred before they made the call, but then they were able to go back and look at it a little bit more to make the right call.
So the offense remains on the field. Hunter Helms, who spent the last 4 years as a Clemson Tiger, got into 9 games for Dabo Sweeney. In the backfield with running back Malik Grant, who takes the handoff, runs into the line of scrimmage, falls forward to the 49, maybe the 50-yard line. Well, Grant starred at Sacred Heart University, former NEC Player of the Year, third-team All-American at the FCS level. His nickname, Fo, is Showtime. That kind of gives you a sense of what he brings to this Rams offense.
And you look at the ability. I mean, he had 37 carries last week. He was truly the bell cow and workhorse for this team in that win against Bryant.
204 yards rushing. He has gone over 100 yards 6 times this season. Out of Archbishop Stepanak in Westchester County, New York. Clean pocket for Helms, has a man in stride. Sean Harris Jr. picks up a first down for URI.
And a good job by him right there, getting the first down, knowing where the sticks are. A lot of times quarterbacks want to go for the big play, but you want to convert, you want to continue this drive, you want to extend the drive. So good job by him getting the first down.
Gaines and Harris go right. Buchanan, the receiver, at the bottom of your screen. Running right, Grant to the 38-yard line.
And a good job by the offensive line on the stretch zone play. You saw those guys able to get out, get to the outside shoulder of the outside man. They're trying to get those guys up the field, moving them up the field to allow for lanes for the back to get north and south.
Gabe Sloat has come back into the game, the redshirt senior from North Kingstown, Rhode Island. Doesn't get the football a lot, only 16 carries on the year. They fake the handoff to him. Helms keeps the play alive, eyes downfield, throws into the end zone to a wide open receiver. Touchdown, Rhode Island. And what do you know? It is touchdown Tommy on the receiving end. Tommy Smith's third touchdown of the season has URI on the scoreboard first.
Now, I know he only came into the game with 2 touchdowns, but his nickname is Touchdown Tommy. You can't just let him roam into the end zone uncovered. No one was within 15 yards of him.
After having a field goal attempt blocked, Ty Groff is out there to attempt the extra point. Following the 38-yard touchdown, we have movement on the left side of the line. And again, this entire unit has been a problem
Multiple
spot
players on the offense.
for URI.
5-yard penalty.
And that
The try
continues
will
here
be
this afternoon
from the
for
8.
Jim Fleming's club. So they'll move it back to the 8-yard line and try it again. Yeah, touchdown Tommy. First team All-CAA as a special teams player, which again talks about his versatility and how important he is in all sorts of different phases for Coach Fleming's team. Snap is good. Hold is good. And the PAT is straight through the uprights.
And the kick from Groff is good.
Rhode Island looked like had fumbled the football and lost it, but the call was overturned and the Rams able to cash in.
Well, what they had was a cover 2 look, but on this look, what happens is Christopher Jean gets lost with all of the receivers out, and he did not pay attention to Tommy Smith as he came all the way across the field from the other side. You see Jean running in late, but there was no one within 15 yards of him, and a good job by Helms getting outside the pocket, allowing this long play to develop. Sometimes you have to give the play a little bit of extra time to develop, and he did that, allowing Smith to come all the way across the field on the deep crossing route.
Helms' 4th passing touchdown of the season. He came on in relief of the injured Devin Farrell week 10 at Delaware. Lost the game, but started the last 2 games. Both were wins, and again doing just enough to keep this URI offense moving. And you see his arm talent with that tremendous throw to the wide open receiver there. Groff kicks off to Jaden Turner. He will kick it to the up man at the 22-yard line. Able to pick his way out across the 30-yard line. Central Connecticut State now trailing 7-0 will bring the offense back out. Late in the first quarter, Forrest, what's your sense of the game so far?
It's been a back and forth game. Right now, chunk plays have been big. When you look at Central Connecticut, I think what they've got to do, they've got to be multiple. They need to get the ball to some of their playmakers on the outside. You've got Marsh, Boston, Paxton, Atafa. You know, you've got a bevy of receivers, Pardo, that you can get the ball to on the outside, but you've got to spread the ball out. Use your athletes. Allow them to make plays in space for you.
And so now Brady Olson back onto the field. We heard repeatedly from his offensive coordinator and head coach, Caleb Gelsomino and Adam Lechtenberg, that his teammates believe in him, but not there. Throws it right to the defender. Inside the 20, inside the 10, diving for the pylon. It's a pick-6 touchdown for Emmanuel Gomes. Not sure who Olsen was trying to find, but there was only one person anywhere near that pass.
Well, Olsen is eyeballing his receivers. If you saw the offensive lineman from the left side of the formation pulled around, you also had the back there blocking. They had an unblocked defender coming off the edge, but they were able to pick that guy up. But you see Olsen, I thought he released the ball too early. You're eyeballing your receivers. They're dropping back into coverage, and you saw the defensive player drop right back into the path of that football. So you're watching the quarterback size. He has to do a better job of looking off the intermediate defensive players as well as those deep safeties. You've got to look off those linebackers as well.
Interception return for a touchdown is under further review.
Third career interception, if it stands, for the leader of this defensive secondary. And I'll tell you what, Emmanuel Gomes looked very much like somebody, when he had the football, he knew what to do with it. He was a 4,000-yard rusher back in his high school days in Woonsocket. Did he get to the pylon? Did he stay in bounds?
Well, you see what they're doing, too. They're bringing those safeties up in linebacker positions and linebacker roles. So a lot of times the quarterback will see a person there and feel like they don't have the quickness and, the change of direction to get to that football. And you saw Gomes able to get to that football. I think that's a touchdown from where we see it right here. It'll be interesting to see what the officials say. But when you look at that pass, I have to think that Olsen thought that this was, your typical linebacker in the intermediate area, and he could squeeze the ball in there before that player could turn his hips and get to it. But Emmanuel Gomes was able to turn those hips, break on that football, and like you said, Doug, you saw the ability. When he gets the ball in his hands, you see the running back ability. He knows where the pylon is. He knows what he needs to do to get the ball over the pylon.
Did the left knee come down out of bounds before he got the football to the pylon? Remember, the pylon is inbound, so if he gets there first with the football, that will stand.
I just don't see anything to overturn it.
Not yet.
Not from this angle. And when you look, when the knee hits, you see the ball hitting the pylon, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's when the ball crossed the goal line. So I think that's what they've got to look at and determine is when the ball crossed the goal line, as opposed to when when the ball hit the pylon. If you're looking at the knee, I see right there, it just seems to me that the ball is over.
Touchdown.
There you go. It is a pick six. And so it's now 13-0 Rhode Island for this team, making its first FCS playoff appearance in nearly 4 decades. Off to a good start here at home. Point after is good. Quick touchdowns, consecutive plays for the Rams to take the quick 14-0 lead.
And right now, you have to have a couple of bad nerves if you're on the Central Connecticut sideline, because Brady Olson last week, 0 touchdowns and 1 interception. You get into this game, now you're down 14-0 and you've thrown another interception. Psychologically, does this start to have an effect on him? He has to continue to play through it. You can't worry about what you can't control, and that's what has already happened. But you've got a big opportunity to fix that, but it starts on this drive. They need to put points on the board. But I think it needs to be 7 as well.
Yeah. His 10th interception of the season. 5 have come in the last 4 games. Brady Olson largely has benefited from terrific protection from an offensive line that is second in FCS, behind only South Dakota State for fewest sacks allowed. He had no duress that time, just made a bad read.
Absolutely. And I think, too, he has to do a better job of looking off those defenders, not eyeballing exactly where you want to go with the football. And don't predetermine where you want to go. Even if you see a favorable matchup, you have to allow that play to develop.
Kickoff fielded at the 12-yard line by Jaden Turner. Big hole up the middle to the 40-yard line. Still on his feet across midfield. A tremendous return for the Blue Devils of Central Connecticut State University.
Just what the doctor ordered, and he is a shoestring tackle away from running that all the way back for a touchdown.
Well, he's tops in the NEC this year, 16th in FCS at 25.5 yards per return. That one goes for 50, and you can see how elusive the backup running back is for CCSU, and by pounding the turf, you knew he wanted more.
Great acceleration through the hole.
2:10 to go first quarter here at Meade Stadium at the home of the Rams of Rhode Island. Olsen throws complete. Sideline pass takes his receiver out of bounds after a good pickup on first down by Paul Marsh Jr., a senior from Naugatuck, Connecticut.
And I like the play call. You want to get more confidence back in your quarterback. He just threw a pick 6. So the first play out after the pick 6 is a pass that he can complete. You have to see the receiver squeeze the football, kind of like a basketball player. Sometimes you have to see the ball go through the hoop on a free throw to get back into that rhythm.
Delvin Atafa, one of the backup wide receivers, into the game at the bottom of your screen, along with Paul Marsh in the slot. Going to run to the near side. Put his foot in the turf, made a man miss. Elijah Howard with a good run. He's taken down near the line to gain. Had to get to the 37-yard line.
And a good job on the outside by the right tackle, Jordan Martell, to get a hat on a hat to give him the edge that he needed to get the first down.
And indeed he got there before the fastest man on this URI defense, Frederick Millay, took him down. Howard, the former Virginia Tech Hokie, stands behind his quarterback Brady Olson, a former three-star recruit who has spent the last 3 years at the University of Massachusetts. He turns and hands it off to the 35-yard line, a pickup of 2. The Rams come away with the football, but the play was called dead. Wesley Neal Jr., who is a tremendous story for URI up front, in on the stop, senior from Miami, who himself was a three-star recruit who was offered by Miami, Syracuse, Pittsburgh, West Virginia, Louisville, Kentucky. But he said to us earlier this week the majority of the big schools moved off, saying that he was too short, and also because he didn't commit to them fast enough. That's how he winds up coming out of high school straight to Rhode Island, and he has had a marvelous career.
Well, the Central Connecticut coaches don't think so. They identified him as a problem, a guy they needed to know where he was at all times and get a hat on a hat.
Donnie Marcus with the football, and the Rhode Island defense comes up with a big stop to bring up 3rd down and long.
Now, we talk about patient runners. I thought on that play, Donnie Marcus should have bounced up to the outside. He had great movement on the left side of the offensive line.
That is the end of the first quarter.
They had inside hands, but he tried to get it up the middle, bounced that to the outside, go where the space is.
And that brings us to the end of the first quarter. The home team, the URI Rams, making big plays on offense, defense, and special teams. Take a 14-0 lead to the second quarter. The winner of this will continue their magical season at Mercer next Saturday. Back in Meade Stadium, Kingston, Rhode Island. Start of the second quarter. I'm Doug Sherman, along with former Florida State offensive lineman Forrest Connolly. Glad you're with us here for this first-round FCS playoff game. Brady Olson under duress and taken down. That is a sack by A.J. Pena, now 11.5 on the season for the 6'2 junior from Montclair, New Jersey, who might just have an NFL future ahead of him with still a year of eligibility to go.
You know, second-level defenders, you see they come with the tackle and twist. They got everybody slanting down. And what happens with that offensive lineman, when you can see that they're showing the blitz, the center needs to, the quarterback needs to hold the snap, allow the offensive lineman to predetermine what their assignments are so they can know what steps they need to take to be able to block and protect the quarterback.
Gabe Sloat with a short return. And let's show you how we got to this point. All URI in the first quarter.
Well, what they did a good job of is getting the ball to playmakers on the outside, making sure those playmakers had an opportunity to make plays. You see right here, the tip pass, and URI is right there, Johnny on the spot to get the interception. And right here, a good job by the quarterback Helms getting to the outside and finding touchdown Tommy, who got behind the defense. Here, Olsen, he eyeballed his receiver, allowing the defensive back to read his eyes, Emmanuel Gomes, and get to the pylon. And you saw the running back ability once he was able to squeeze that football and get up the field to get it over the pylon and get that touchdown.
And that sack for Pena for us. Now 26 for his career, 7 behind the program career record of 33. Gets the football back for URI. Again, the Rams were under the direction of Jim Fleming. He told us this week when he took over the program 11 years ago, it was on life support. There was no pride. There was a tremendous drop in the program. Support had waned, but that has turned slowly but surely. The school has supported it. You see the beautiful field that they are playing on here. And now it seems the sky's the limit for URI.
Well, he said they've learned to pay attention. They've corrected past mistakes. And because of their attentiveness, they've been able to find ways to win in the fourth quarter and get themselves where they are right now.
Hunter Helms hands it off. Into a pile at the line of scrimmage goes Deion Silas, the senior from Memphis, Tennessee, who began his career in the Big 12 Conference at Iowa State. That'll bring up 3rd down and long.
And this is a key defensive series, I think, for Central Connecticut early in this football game. You've got the ball deep in URI's territory, so if you're able to get a stop here and they punt the ball, you can possibly flip the field. So I think this is an extremely important drive. This is an extremely important 3rd down right here.
Gabe Sloat now in at running back. Helms, clean pocket. Diving catch for a 1st down across the 30-yard line. Amari Walker lays out. The Arkansas State transfer picks up the 1st down grab.
And that's just a great throw by Helms right there. You see number 23, Jack Stoll. He's trying to break on the football, but it zooms by so fast. He doesn't have the time, to get over there to try and get in front of that football. And a good job by Walker squeezing it, laying out to get that football and help his quarterback out.
Pick up 21 yards, give him a little breathing room out to the 30-yard line. Tackle broken by Grant. He's into the 3rd level out to midfield. A 20-yard pickup for the grad transfer out of the Bronx.
And that just cannot happen. They had the perfect defense call for that play. They had the corner blitz, but he just whiffed on the tackle.
Temple give it right back to Grant. And again, before you know it, he's into the 2nd level. Tackled from behind by Preston Green, junior linebacker from Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
And you see the ability of this offense. I was just talking about a 3rd down deep in their own territory and how important that was for the defense. Here we are 2 plays later, and they're over the 50-yard line, looking like they're getting ready to drive towards the next score.
5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Although the illegal shift on Amari Walker, one of their wide receivers, will bring it back. Well, the offensive line for URI has been really good this year. Brock Bethea, Thomas Buxton, Trey Alexander, Dimitri Robinson, Jordan Cooper. They have been the foundation for this 10-win program. As Alexander at center, young man out of Jesuit High School in Tampa.
Offensive linemen are the most important players on the football field.
Not just the football field, on the planet, Forrest. Come on, man. Going deep, taking a shot, and it's incomplete through the hands of Marquise Buchanan. Gavin Bryson in coverage.
Well, Christopher Jean was lucky on that play. He never turned around to locate the football. And he'll get those skill sets as he continues to grow into this position. But you see right there, he does a good job of reading the receiver's hands and getting his hand in there right as the receiver's reaching out for the football. But he was playing dangerously, not turning around trying to locate that football.
Well, as coaches say, he is fearless, has a football intelligence that helps him on plays like that.
And that is why he's the conference rookie of the year defense.
Intercepted at the 41-yard line. Big takeaway. Gavin Bryson, the junior from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, with his 3rd takeaway of the year. Make that Malachi Wright, excuse me. Malachi Wright with the interception. Central Connecticut State with a big defensive play early in this 2nd quarter. And that will give this CCSU offense tremendous field position. Down 14-0.
And Malachi Wright did a good job of playing underneath, jumping up, squeezing that football. He read the quarterback's eyes, something that we saw on the other side. He was able to do is read the quarterback's eyes, Hunter Helms, and squeeze that football and get the interception. A much-needed turnover for Central Connecticut.
From the URI 48-yard line, the drive begins. 1st down pass to David Pardo. That'll be a pickup of 7 to the 41-yard line. Running back is Howard, 2nd in the NEC at over 83 yards per game on the ground. He's got 8 rushing touchdowns. They're going to give him the football. Big hole to run through. It's a 1st down. to the 33-yard line to make Quentin Hunter-Colvin with the tackle. Malachi Burby comes in, one of the big guys up front from Berlin, Connecticut. Number 15 in blue, your hometown.
Absolutely. He's not a red coat, though.
No. He went to Cheshire Academy, but that doesn't mean he can't be the Berlin Wall 2.0, right?
I don't know about that.
Fake the handoff. Olsen into the end zone, incomplete. Into single coverage. And step for step was Frederick Millay with the intended target.
And I like where Olsen put that football, because if he leads the receiver a little bit more, there's a defender coming from the other side that could possibly pick that off. So a good job by Olsen putting it where only his receiver could try to make a play on it. You have to be smart in these situations and make sure only your guy can make a play on that football.
And I got to give a little background. My man here, Forrest Connolly, was a 5-star recruit out of Berlin, Connecticut. That's why you were the Berlin Wall back in the day. Chose Florida State. 2nd down and 10. Run it. Inside the 30-yard line. A.J. Pena makes the stop.
But I will say this, though. I do have a connection to Central Connecticut University. My high school coach, Albert Pellegrinelli, was an All-American in 1964.
Okay.
At Central Connecticut University.
Okay. Well, Central Connecticut State has produced one NFL player over the years. Defensive end Joe Costello. Played for the Falcons and the Raiders back in the late 80s and early 90s. They did have a couple of players in NFL preseason camps this past year. LaQuay Washington, Tyler Boatwright. Brady Olson checks it down to find on the crossing route. Elijah Howard steps out of bounds at about the 21-yard line. Well, Howard, 5 rushing touchdowns in the last 4 games, but you can't just key on him running the football. He's so elusive coming out of the backfield.
And that's what makes him so dangerous. 19 catches, 193 yards this season. He can do it all. He's one of those backs that you can just leave in the football game. In any formation, he's going to be a dangerous, dangerous positional player.
Well, since transferring from Virginia Tech just a couple of years in the program, he's already 11th in CCSU history in career rushing yardage. Number 7 in white takes the football again and has himself a huge hole. You can see his elusiveness. It's another 1st down run to the 10.
And what Rhode Island keeps doing is they're showing cover 2, but at the snap of the football, one of the safeties is coming up in the box and they're dropping that one safety to the middle of the field. But you're giving so much space on the back end of your defense. If the back gets to the 3rd level, there are no defenders there, so they have to be extremely careful with that. Now, it's not as bad because they're so close to their own goal line, but when the field is larger, the back, when they're not as close to their goal line, it makes for a difficult cover on the back end.
The backup quarterback, Ricky Ortega, has come in, takes the snap, and will run it, but URI defensively was waiting for him. Braden Price coming up from his quarterback position to make the tackle.
And that looks like a play that they've kind of saw some things, and they know when that quarterback comes in, this is the play that they typically run, because Braden Price knew exactly what to do on that play. He wasn't going for any ball fake. He was going directly to the quarterback to make sure he got the tackle.
And that is not unusual for Coach Gelsomino, the offensive coordinator for the Blue Devils. They use Ortega in different packages. He's back on the sideline now, though, as the starting quarterback, Brady Olson. With it on 2nd down, throws into the end zone, a diving attempt, and it is a touchdown. A marvelous diving catch by Isaac Boston. And the Blue Devils get themselves on the board.
Everything was good about this play. An exceptional route. I love where Olsen put the football. He looked the safety off, the deep safety, to make sure there was nothing coming over for help. But an excellent route by Boston, pushing that defensive back to the inside, giving him a lot of room when he broke to the flag route.
And So now Jack Barnum, who grew up in Southington, Connecticut. His coach Adam Lechtenberg said he is proud to be a Blue Devil. 4-time NEC Special Teams Player of the Week. And the kick is up and good. Boston's first touchdown since October 26th against LIU gets Central Connecticut State and the fans who've made the 90-minute drive from New Britain, Connecticut to here at Meade Stadium in Rhode Island. Something to cheer about in this first round FCS playoff game. We've got a game. The Blue Devils back within 7. Think for a second Central Connecticut State would be in this position. And I bet you, if you asked the Blue Devils a month ago, they wouldn't be in this position, but they've rattled off 4 straight wins to close out the regular season and had a huge win over Duquesne, the preseason favorite last Saturday to get here, and now they have proven that they belong on this field playing for a national championship in this first round game against the University of Rhode Island.
And that again comes from Coach Lechtenberg and the belief that he's putting these guys that you've got to continue to fight all the way until the end, play through the whistle, play until the final bell has rung.
Onside kick recovered. Central Connecticut State says it has the football. And indeed they do. A huge special teams play for the Blue Devils.
And that was a perfect onside kick. Watch how slow the ball moves, and it's almost like the URI players were in slow motion trying to figure out, is this really happening? You don't see but one of the players even making an attempt to cover the ball up. Great play call right now because they were not expecting this early in the football game. But as you know, both teams have to realize it's win or go home. So everybody's going to pull all the tricks out of their bags right now to try and win this football game.
Tremendous job by Javis Rayside, a backup safety and a grad transfer from Bryant to cover that football. Central Connecticut State down 14-0. Now looking to tie it up, getting the football right back. Elijah Howard tries to get to the edge, can't get there. Tremendous coverage and hit by Iende Johnson. Iende's from Danbury, Connecticut, and he was up to the task of tracking down the speedy Elijah Howard.
And Delvin Atafa, you've got to help your teammate out on the outside. You've got to get that block. Number 13, stick your head in there, do something, chicken wing him or something. Give your guy an opportunity to get around the edge.
And for Johnson, he remembers a couple of years ago when he was playing for the LIU Sharks. He had a 40-yard pick six against this same Central Connecticut State team. Coverage on the crossing route. Pass intended for Michael Plaskin, but he could not haul it in.
And usually on crossing routes, those are the most difficult routes to cover. But you've got Frederick Millay, the fastest person on the defense, covering. And you saw the recovery speed on that, Doug. He was able to catch up and get his hand in there and knock the ball out.
Second team all-conference, despite wearing a club on his hand for much of the season. Into coverage. Pass is caught. Delvin Atafa, a senior from Worcester, with a first down reception from Brady Olson.
And Atafa must have heard me 2 plays ago when I complained about him not getting the block on the outside, because watch how he squeezes this football. He catches it with his hands. He's got immediate defensive pressure. He's squeezing the football. He gets it close to his body, high and tight, and then he fights those guys for an additional 3 or 4 yards.
Forrest, I'm a playmaker. I'm not a blocker. Come on, man. Just throw me the football. Howard spun around, still keeps his momentum going forward, but Gabe Salamans got enough of him to bring him down.
And I want to identify something. That was a good job by Jordan Martell, 65, the right tackle. He had an opportunity to grab that defensive player and hold him as he was trying to disengage, but he did a good job of letting him go. Often you'll see tackles and linemen hold on and get that holding call.
The leader up front for Central Connecticut, Alec Ambrosia, one of the captains. He is the left guard, number 72 in white. Jonathan Kula, the center, directing some traffic. They're going to run behind those big boys for positive yardage. Going to come up about a yard short of the sticks.
And Alec Ambrosia, who you just identified, did a good job of redirecting on that play to catch the blitzing linebacker and get enough on him to allow the back to squeeze through to get close to the first down marker.
And Case Mankins out of Bishop Feehan High School in Massachusetts made that tackle. 3rd down and 1. Inside of 5 minutes remaining in the first half. The line to gain is the 26. And I don't think he got there. Howard was driven back, and he's going to be maybe a yard shy.
And one of the things on that play I thought Howard should have did was run it to the left side of the formation. You had your big body offense in right there. You had defensive tackle Carl Kunis as your tight end on that play. I thought that's where you were going to get the most movement. That's where all the beef was, on the left side of that offensive line. I thought he should have broke it out to the left side as opposed to trying to run behind the right guard.
So now, instead of attempting what would be about a 44 or 45-yard field goal, which Barnum has plenty of leg for, Central Connecticut State goes for it on 4th down, or at least gives that appearance. Timeout called by the Blue Devils.
I do not like the pistol formation in this with 4th and 1. Why would you go pistol formation? A lot of teams are doing that, and I don't like that with the spread offense that everybody's running. Sometimes you have to go to old school football, dot the I, and run the dive play.
Well, we'll see what they do on 4th down when we come back. Will they kick it, or will they go for a first down? The offense for Central Connecticut State is back on the field, and they will go for it on 4th and 1. Brady Olson with Elijah Howard in the pistol formation. He's got to get to the 26-yard line. They're going to throw the football with an open man, but he overshoots the intended receiver, Sean O'Brien. The Blue Devils go for it and come up empty on that drive.
And he had him, and O'Brien is 6'7", so you have to try to throw it too tall. Perfect play call, Doug.
Huge.
Perfect play call.
Huge.
And the way that Howard went through the ball fake.
Big opportunity missed for the Blue Devils. Little better thrown football, and we would have had a tie game. Back after this. Well, I'll tell you what, Forrest, I love the play calling of Adam Lechtenberg, the second-year head coach at Central Connecticut State. They had their 3rd onside kick of the year that they recovered, drove the football down, and on 4th down went for it, had the perfect play called, just couldn't convert. And so Rhode Island maintains its 7-point lead and gets the football back. And on 1st down, Hunter Helms completes the pass to his biggest receiver, Greg Gaines III, who stands 6'3", 205 out of Tampa Bay Tech.
He's a big physical receiver that can go up and get it. And he's one of those guys that's going to win those one-on-one battles on the outside.
Now Rhode Island has run the football effectively so far today. Malik Grant, 75 yards on the ground. He is a regular to get to 100 and more. 3rd team all-conference this year with a program record-tying 13 rushing touchdowns. Pickup of 1. And that is a first down. Jalen Howard, the senior defensive lineman and Villanova transfer, making the tackle. Good look at Hunter Helms, a 6'2" senior from West Columbia, South Carolina, attended Gray Collegiate Academy and turned down Division I scholarship offers to be a walk-on at Clemson. URI crowd wanting a little extra after the whistle. Malik Grant was stood up and his forward progress stopped.
And a good job by Cliff Thompson. He's one of those true zero techniques. 6'1", 340 pounds. One of those guys that doesn't necessarily have the gaudy numbers, but what he does is he allows those linebackers to flow downhill with his ability to occupy space, occupying both of those A-gaps on both sides of the center.
Yeah, you're right, Fo. He is a rock in the middle at 335 pounds. Hunter Helms calls his own number. He's tackled at the 42-yard line.
2 minutes.
Once again, Cliff Thompson in on the stop, the junior from Hackensack, New Jersey. 1:58 remaining in the half. URI up by a touchdown. The NCAA FCS championship coverage continues next weekend, with second-round games beginning Saturday on ESPN+. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. With Forrest Connolly, I'm Doug Sherman. We just got a look at the Ryan Center, which we are in, the basketball home for URI men's and women's hoops. Their football team is on the move, out across midfield after the short pass game. Sloat moves the chains for URI.
And the coaching staff referred to Sloat as that blue-collar, impact player. He doesn't make a whole lot of plays, but when he does, it's always an impact. And he's that guy that just carries his lunch pail every Saturday.
He says he chose URI, quote, because the school gave me a shot. I love that. Big hit after a 7-yard gain. On the receiving end, Amari Walker, redshirt junior from McKinney, Texas. He now has 10 catches on the year. Malachi Wright, the tackle for the Blue Devils. Another quick pass and catch. This one for a first down, and out of bounds goes the ball carrier Greg Gaines to stop the clock with 1:18 remaining in the half.
And an impressive catch by Gaines on the outside, catching that ball with his hand, squeezing it, trying to get positive yards, for making sure he maintains control of the football as he's getting thrown out of bounds.
12-yard pickup for a young man who was offered coming out of high school by Georgia, Auburn, Florida State, Miami. Big talent for Rhode Island football. He gained 12 on the pass play from Hunter Helms. Buchanan in motion. He is the #1 receiver for URI. Looking that way, going for him. Down inside the 5-yard line, but it's incomplete. There with him was Devon Walden Jr., the former UNLV running rebel, who his coaches say if we have a best NFL prospect on this roster, it's number 15 in white.
And he did a good job of using the sideline to his advantage, squeezing that receiver over to the sideline, not allowing him the space that he needed to try and catch that football in bounds. A lot of times defensive backs don't use the sideline to their advantage. You've got to squeeze that receiver to that sideline and use that to your advantage.
Well, the defensive coordinator says we got lucky. Coach Lechtenberg knew his special teams coordinator at UNLV, and when Walden went into the portal, CCSU stepped in. Down goes Hunter Helms, all the way back outside the 40-yard line. A huge defensive play for the Blue Devils.
Rhode Island has
Jalen Howard.
30 seconds.
URI has to burn a timeout after now 10.5 sacks this year, top 20 in the country for Jalen Howard.
And what I like about that play, if you watch on that play, what Christopher Jean did, number 39, the free safety, is he acted as if he was going to go into coverage and then come into the middle of the field and be that one deep safety. But then he dropped back into coverage, and they brought the linebacker Jack Stoll. They dropped him deep as that deep safety. So what happens is, if you're Hunter Helms, you're trying to read what the defense is giving you. When they've got all of that movement in the backside of the defense, he had to hold on to the football. So although it was a sack, I thought that was a smart play by Hunter Helms not to put that football up in the air because of what they were doing coverage rides on the back end of that defense.
And you mentioned Chris Jean. He has been such a prominent playmaker as a redshirt freshman. Fumble recoveries #2 in the country. He had 3 interceptions in the win last week. Making plays in different areas defensively for Central Connecticut. Need a big one here on 3rd and 18. Helms has a man. It's inside the 30-yard line. Not going to be anywhere near good enough for a first down, but Marquise Buchanan makes the catch to secure the football.
And that's what Central wanted to do. Keep everything in front of them. You want to keep them behind the sticks.
And now you're really outside of field goal range for Ty Groff, so they're going to go for it on fourth down. His longest of the year is 38 yards. His career long was 47 yards. But again, there have been issues all season long for Jim Fleming's field goal unit. And now timeout is called by the Rams.
Second timeout. 30 seconds.
So where do you look here on fourth down, going for it, needing to pick up 6 yards, Fo?
One of the plays I think that's been successful for this ball club is the delayed back out of the backfield. We've seen Slope be able to block and then release late, and there's no one there to cover him before he gets 8 to 10 yards. I think that is a play you can look for. Also, maybe a screen pass. We haven't seen a screen pass all afternoon. With the pressure that I think Central Connecticut will bring on this fourth down, that may be a play. But you also remember Malik Grant. You want to get him the football any way possible. But I think Central will key on Malik Grant. So I think you look for other players.
We just saw Will Johnson warming up on the sideline. He's a backup kicker with a bigger leg if they were to go for it. But here with 31 seconds remaining in the half, URI lines up on fourth down and 6 to try to get the football to the 23-yard line. Helms, plenty of time, throws toward the end zone. It's incomplete. Looked like a good pass. Marquise Buchanan, though, could not come up with the catch.
And he had Gabe Slope on the delayed release. He would have walked for the first down. You don't have to get it all. Get the first down. Watch number 5. He releases. There's no one there. You get the ball to number 5. He gets to the 10-yard line before any defender is close to him.
Yep.
Too often, quarterbacks are trying to get it all on one play. He was covered. Marquise Buchanan well on that play. You should have went to Slope.
So the stop by Central Connecticut. Brady Olson takes a knee, and that'll be the final play of the first half. Well, after this game was scoreless for more than 10 minutes, Rhode Island put a couple of touchdowns up late in the first quarter, followed by a touchdown from Central Connecticut State here in the second quarter. And they will head to the locker room down by 7. Well, you never know in these first-round games of the FCS when you've got an NEC team going on the road to face a CAA team, what you're going to get. We've got a competitive first half of football in the books.
Well, you've got a lot of guys that have played against one another in high school, have seen one another, have been on recruiting trips with one another. So these teams, I think there's some familiarity there, but they both play the same brand of football, hard-nosed, blue-collar. We're going to hit you in the mouth. We're going to see how hard your head is, and we're going to play square chin football, and that's what we've seen so far in this first half. I thought there have been some missed opportunities on both sides of the football. I thought on that last play, once again, Slope was there for it. So I think we'll see some adjustments at halftime, and we're setting up for a great second half.
Only 90 minutes between these two New England campuses. NCAA first round regionalized, and we've got ourselves a good football game. Central Connecticut State trailing at the break 14-7. Back to Rhode Island with our halftime report right after this.
To the O-line, the men in the trenches, gallant, lion-hearted, nurturing, Renaissance men, the real skill position guys. Who needs a sleek number 88 anyway? Wherefore art thou number 68? Strong as an ox, slim as a keg. To err is human, Mr. Line Judge. The defense doth protest too much. Pass rushers diverge and take the road less traveled when it comes to these earth movers. Tread softly round Kelvin Banks at Texas, impenetrable as an armored truck. Cam Ward may bask in the spotlight in Miami, but whenceforth does his protector Jalen Rivers get shine? Do not go gentle into that good night against Wyatt Milam at West Virginia. And no more shall the contributions of Will Campbell be overlooked. A pancake man focused on saving the bacon in Baton Rouge. A Johnny Cornelius, a majestic peak rising high above Eugene. Methinks I shall never see an elite mauler like Minnesota's Ariante Ursary. And lest we forget the many dashing centers who snap the ball to the big uglies at quarterback, from Parker Brailsford at Alabama to Cooper Mays at Tennessee. Oh, Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bulldozers who dominate and devastate, and know when they know, and know when you know, and know when they know that you know they have taken your will.
Back in Meade Stadium at the University of Rhode Island, halftime with the Rams leading Central Connecticut State 14-7. This first round game of the NCAA tournament with Forrest Connolly. I'm Doug Sherman. The winner of this will advance to Macon, Georgia next Saturday afternoon. Now scheduled for a 3 Eastern kickoff against Mercer, another game that you can see on ESPN+. In our game here, Central Connecticut State has shown good balance running the football. Malik Grant, 81 yards on the ground. Hunter Helms, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, but 12 of 19 for 146 yards.
Helms done a good job. He's missed on a couple of plays, but overall he's done a really good job. And Malik Grant averaging 8 yards a carry, almost a first down every time he touches the football running.
We'll break it down further, show you the first half highlights when we come back on a chilly but perfect day for football late November here in New England. It's a 7-point Rhode Island lead at the break. At the intermission, Rhode Island 14, Central Connecticut State 7 for a spot in the second round of the FCS championship next week in Georgia. With Forrest Connolly, I'm Doug Sherman. Welcome back, everybody. And we started off the top talking about how would the Central Connecticut State offense be able to operate against this very good URI defense. What have you seen through the first 2 quarters?
They've had their opportunities. I don't think they have taken advantage of all of them. The URI defense has been as advertised. They're coming downhill. They're applying pressure. They're bringing exotic blitz packages. That linebacker core has been adept this afternoon.
And so here we see the highlights, the URI defense with that takeaway coming up with the interception. Both sides have made big plays today.
Well, Helm extended that play and got the ball down to touchdown Timon, who got behind the defense. But here, Helm is eyeballing his receiver, Emmanuel Gomes, Olsen eyeballing his receiver, Emmanuel Gomes, read his eyes, was able to jump in front of that ball and get the pick 6.
Meanwhile, for Central Connecticut State, they had their own takeaway and were able to take advantage.
And you see right here a good job getting the ball where only his receiver can make a play on it. And they surprised URI right here with the perfect onside kick.
But they were unable with a wide open man on 4th down to convert. That would have been the tying touchdown. Instead, the 7-point Rhode Island lead is intact here at the break. Fairly even, but the ground game for Rhode Island, their balance on offense has been the difference.
Absolutely. They've been able to be multiple, running the football, passing the football. That extra yardage that they're getting running the football, I think, has helped them to be able to find open lanes passing that football. A
competitive old-school New England showdown at the FCS level, first round of the NCAA tournament. When we come back, we will have the start of the 3rd quarter. Couple of dream seasons. One will come to an end. The other will survive and advance. Find out who when we return. You're watching the FCS playoffs on ESPN. Welcome back, everybody, on a picture-perfect day, a historic day here in Kingston, Rhode Island. The first time in nearly 4 decades, Rhode Island is in the NCAA tournament, hosting a Central Connecticut State team that was picked dead last to start the year in the NEC. Our quarterback comparison, Olsen and Helms have both done a good job. Helms has gotten more out of it. but the interceptions might ultimately be the determining factor in the second half. Who can take better care of the football in the third and fourth quarters?
Now, Olsen just needs to stop eyeballing his receivers. I think sometimes he predetermines where he wants to go at the football. I get it. You see the matchup that you like, but you have to look off those safeties, look off that underneath coverage, and watch for the mix match that they're showing you coverage-wise, because they'll show you something pre-snap, but then drop into a different coverage after the ball has been snapped.
Jaden Turner allows the opening kick here in the third quarter to go over his head for a touchback, and so now the aforementioned Brady Olson, the captain out of Milford Academy, or rather Milford High School, I should say, in Massachusetts, comes out of the field. And his coaches repeatedly said to us this week, Forrest, how much they and the teammates believe in him. He played through an injury last week in the huge victory over Duquesne to get to this point, and he shows some of those character traits that translate. When your quarterback is like that, and when the rest of the team looks at number 12 and says, we like him, we will block for him, protect for him, it makes a huge difference.
Well, they talked about a play where he didn't panic, where the ball was snapped over his head. And he did a good job of not just covering it up, but just throwing it away so they didn't lose those yards, which eventually led to them scoring and winning that football game.
He pulls on the fake jet sweep, and the 6'4" junior falls forward for a nice pickup on first down. Devin Hightower, one of the linebackers out of Bishop Hoban High School outside of Cleveland. I think it's in Akron, Ohio. Big football power, comes up with the tackle.
And we talked about the quarterback comparison in the first half. But the thing about that, if you're the coaching staff, Coach Lechtenberg and his staff, you just have to tell Olsen, hey, it wasn't the greatest first half, but we're still in this thing. We need one score, and we're tied up.
Elijah Howard, the running back. He gets his first touch of the second half and is tripped up crossing the 30-yard line by Frederick Millay, senior from Providence. That'll bring up third down.
And you see
the line to gain is the 35. Third down and 3. Olsen unleashes a diving attempt, unable to haul it in at the 40-yard line is David Pardo. That'll bring the punt team for Central Connecticut State out onto the field. Looked like the ball was placed where it needed to be, but in coverage, Braden Price able to break that up with Pardo laying out unsuccessfully.
And a good attempt by Pardo to try and squeeze that football.
And so Clark's punt lands at about the 30 and will bounce all the way inside the 10-yard line and will come to rest inside the 5-yard line. Talk about flipping the field on special teams for Central Connecticut State.
Now, Doug, do you try and go for it on this first play? An opportunity to try and go vertical?
Yeah.
This may be a time where you can catch Central Connecticut. What a great job by the punter and the coverage team getting down there to cover this up inside the 5-yard line. But I think this is an opportunity to take a shot right here.
Why not?
Because Central might not be expecting that, especially this close to your own goal line.
Good look at Hunter Helms standing in his own end zone. They're going to run it on first down. And they pick up maybe 3 or 4 yards up the middle safely to get a little more breathing room there around their own goal line. On the carry by Malik Grant, who is closing in on 100 yards for the day.
And something else to be weary of, if you're Central Connecticut State University, you need to keep at least one deep safety. With everybody up in the box with this goal line defense, if the back gets to the second level, there are no other defenders there.
Give it to Grant again. Going to run outside for a first down and more. Across the 30. He could go into Central territory with one man to beat. Finally ridden out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
And touchdown, Tommy, you got to get your body in between the defender and your running back. Come on, touchdown, Tommy, you were right there. But a good job not getting a blocking in the back penalty, because a lot of guys would have gotten that. But you got to love the way you got down the field. And I just said it, Doug. When you're playing that goal line defense, you don't have any deep safety. So if they get to the second level, there's no one there. And you see the speed by Grant once he got to the outside. But touchdown, Tommy, get the block.
Here's Deion Silas trying to get the outside. That was a 77-yard run. And if not for the chase down tackle by Kamal Clark, that would have been a touchdown for somebody other than touchdown Tommy. You know, he's not blocking Tommy. He's touchdown Tommy.
Absolutely, but he's a blue-collar guy. He does it all. So I expected him to get the blocking. Kamal Clark, we have to, you know, once again recognize this is why he was the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference. He did not give up on that play. He was able to run down Malik Grant, something we don't see often.
No. And you could tell from about 20 yards away he was going to catch him. He had the angle and had the speed.
Absolutely.
He is a heat-seeking missile on the back end for Central Connecticut State. Among the top 25 in FCS at over 9 tackles per game from his safety position, none bigger than the one to stop that long run. Helms hands it off. Making one-man miss, Sean Harris Jr. He was elusive and turns what would have been a negative play into a positive play. Bring up second down.
You see Jalen Howard pounding the ground because he was right there to make a play in the backfield. But the elusiveness allows for him to get positive yards.
By the way, congratulations to Malik Grant. He has reached the 100-yard mark for the 7th time this season. He stands alongside the quarterback Helms on 2nd and 14, stays into block, picks up the rush, but then the pass is intercepted inside the 5-yard line. Another takeaway for Central Connecticut State. Chris Jean, who had 3 interceptions last week, with his 4th of the season, and it couldn't have come at a bigger time for CCSU.
And you see what Gene did. He set Helms up. He made Helms feel like he could throw that football. And as soon as he released the ball, you saw Gene making a break to step in front of the receiver and grab the interception. Big, big play for Central Connecticut University to keep them in this football game and get a step closer to tying it up with another score.
There you see the heart and soul of this defensive secondary for Central Connecticut State. Kamal Clark, number 5. Chris Jean, number 39. Jean, the redshirt freshman, with a couple of huge plays. He had the blocked field goal in the first quarter, and then his interception near the goal line gets the football back for the offense of Central Connecticut State. And on first down, they pick up a first down out to the 40-yard line. Braden Price brings down Donnie Marcus after the Ball State transfer picks up a huge first down. 13 yards on the carry.
Great kick-out block by the right guard, Precious Ike. That is what you're looking for. Knock those defenders out of the way. Allow your back to cut up the seam and get the first down.
Yeah, Ike has stepped up so big for this offensive line of the Blue Devils this year, filling a hole after an injury. Brady Olson, plenty of time. Throws it down the left sideline with the safety coming over. No chance for Paul Marsh to make a play on that football.
And a good job by the offensive line, giving Olsen the time that he needed to look down the field. One of the adjustments I want to see by both quarterbacks, we didn't see it by Helms on that last drive, is looking off the receiver. Even when you see the matchup that is favorable, you can't eyeball those receivers because you key the defense to jump those routes.
The center is Jonathan Coulor, Jr. from Remington, Virginia. Good snap. Keep it on the ground. Marcus tripped up at about the 44-yard line. Sean Falloy, one of the safeties out of Bishop Hendrickson High School. Hendricken, in Providence, made the stop to bring up third down and about 6. Howard, the Virginia Tech transfer at running back, now goes wide to the bottom of your screen with triple receivers to the left. Olsen looking right, looking for his running back in single coverage, and it's incomplete. Some contact there, but DJ Curitin, who had the interception in the first quarter, wins that head-to-head matchup with the star running back of Central Connecticut State.
Well, you see what Rhode Island's doing on defense. They showed one deep safety. They brought the linebackers up, and then the linebackers did a twist. Good job by the defensive back using the sideline once again to his advantage. You want to press those receivers to the sideline and make them try to stay in bounds while they're looking for the football. So you've got to use the sideline to your advantage. A good job by the defensive back.
And so Rhode Island will get the football back. Sloat and Harris back deep to receive. It's a short punt. Fielded at the 18-yard line. And URI's offense will take over at its own 21-yard line. Sean Harris, the speedy return man, able to secure that bouncing football. We'll take a break with 9:32 remaining third quarter. Still 14-7 URI. Rhode Island running back Malik Grant in the midst of another huge day with the football. He scored 3 touchdowns in the big win over Albany last week at Bryant. 204 yards rushing. He's at it again today, Forrest.
And you see Malik Grant, you see the speed to the outside, but every team always has that one go-get-him guy. And we saw Kamal Clark go and get him on that long run. You see right here, he's breaking to the outside. I've been on touchdown timing for not making the block, but you see that go-get-him speed by Kamal Clark to catch him and stop him from getting the touchdown.
Third time this year he's gone for 150+ in a game. They give him the football on first down. Jalen Howard, the senior defensive lineman from Woodbridge, Virginia, former Villanova Wildcat, making the tackle on Grant, who is making it happen once again for this Rhode Island team that if they win today, it'll be a program record 11th win of the year.
And what's interesting, coming into this game, Central Connecticut was averaging 3 sacks and 7 tackles for loss, and it held 5 opponents under 100 rushing yards. Well, Grant has already broken away from that.
And here he goes again. Gets to the edge, heads upfield, and it's another big run for the grad transfer out of Archbishop Stepinac High School in New York.
And the thing that he's been able to do is plant that foot and get north and south. You see right here, he plants the foot and boom, he gets up the field, and he has so much speed when he gets to the outside. 19 yards before Jack Stoll ushered him out of bounds. And I like what Stoll did. He held him up. That's good sportsmanship right there. I know I probably would have knocked him into the bench. Grant
with a short carry. Up the middle there is Jack Stoll being a little less polite on the tackle.
Well, that is not where their bread and butter has been running the football. Cliff Thompson, number 97, has done an excellent job in the middle, allowing Stoll, Ames, Malachi Wright, and Jaden Anderson to flow downhill, as well as some of the defensive backs that are coming down into the box. Yeah. They've had most success running outside the tackles.
No doubt. Stoll is the straw that stirs the drink defensively. So they go back outside into single coverage with Tristan Armstrong trying to keep up with Greg Gaines, but that's a big ask. Bryson is 5'10", Gaines is 6'3", and it's another first down completion from Hunter Helms. First and 10 from the 41-yard line for Rhody. Helms gives Grant. Able to get big yardage up the middle to the 34-yard line before being ridden to the ground by Howard.
And you see what Grant did on that play. Because he's been so successful getting to the outside, those linebackers are flowing to the outside, and he's able to cut it back up. He finds a seam and gets up the field. So what Grant is showing you, his ability to read what the defense is giving him and take advantage of it.
7-yard pickup to bring 2nd and 3. Grant able to get inside the 30-yard line. That'll move the chains, and once again Rhode Island on the move, looking to build on its 7-point lead.
And Vincent Thomas let it be known that he did not like Grant running the football. Watch number 0 on this play. That is what you do to a back when they run up in the middle, up in your space. You let them know this is not where you want to be. A good job by Vincent Thomas putting a hat on that play.
Thomas making his third stop at Central Connecticut State after a couple of years at the Naval Academy, and then the last 4 years in Orono, Maine with the Black Bears. Set up the wide receiver screen to Buchanan. Short gain. Kamal Clark with the tackle at the 27-yard line.
And good job by Christopher Jean, number 39 out there, not allowing the receiver to get movement at the point of attack, trying to block him, allowing his teammates to get there and make the tackle.
They go that way again. Another wide receiver screen for Buchanan, and once again the defensive backs for Central Connecticut State were ready. Gavin Bryson and Tristan Armstrong were right there.
With the way these defensive backs are attacking these short routes, I want to see Rhode Island do a stop and go route. I think they'll have a receiver that'll break wide open because these defensive backs are coming up, attacking all of these short routes right now.
Defensive coordinator Ron DeGravio so appreciative of the work that this defense has put in all year. He is so proud.
It was reviewed on an expedited basis, and it was determined that the pass was incomplete. Third down.
So Buchanan did not make the catch on that low pass that was around his shoe tops. So an expedited replay. Don't have to have stoppage. We've got replay officials up here at the press box level able to do some of the reviews much more quickly. So it goes as an incomplete pass, and we'll see it here ourselves on the replay.
Absolutely, the ball does touch the ground. It bounced back up into his hands. Good job by the officials.
So 3rd down and 7 for Helms. Looking right. Now looking left. Checks it down for a first down. That's Gabe Sloat out of the backfield. Jim Fleming says Sloat has never been, quote, the guy, but he has always, through his 6 years as a Ram, managed to make significant contributions.
Well, Sloat has been open the majority of the time he's been in the game. This right here, you see him go out on a route initially, but what they've been doing with Sloat is those delayed routes. He stays in, he blocks, and then he gets out into the open. But a good job by Helms going through his progressions and finding Sloat.
Down to his 3rd receiver for a 5-yard pickup and a first down. That mesh point was blown up from the point of contact. Cliff Thompson once again standing tall.
The big fella has been a problem throughout the afternoon for this Rhode Island offensive line. You see him a great swim technique to get past Dimitri Robinson, number 52. What Robinson has to do is sit down in his hips, you know, and be able to redirect. You can't go out with your head down. You've got to see what you're blocking.
He has been one of the standouts on this steady CCSU defense all season long. As the shadows continue to creep across Meade Stadium here in Kingston, Rhode Island. 4:52 remaining 3rd quarter. With Forrest Connolly, I'm Doug Sherman, Central Connecticut State with the football, 1st down and 10. And on 1st down, Elijah Howard busts a big one. That deep threat out of the backfield. The former Hokie was chased out of bounds by Andre DePina Gray.
You talk about a magnificent jump cut. The way that Howard jumps, boom, he jumps to the outside, and there's no defenders there. That is the vision and the balance and the intangibles that you look for in great running backs. The ability to make that jump cut, find the seam, find where the area to run is, and get there quickly.
Braden Price is not going to want to see that on film tomorrow.
Absolutely not. He's still trying to find the shoestrings.
Goes for 40 yards on the run by Elijah Howard. From the 35-yard line, give it back to Howard. Met at the line of scrimmage, falls forward for a couple of yards. Carson Primrose grad transfer from Sacred Heart, brings a toughness, a Pittsburgh kid doing big things. A.J. Pena also in there on the stop.
And we talked about the Central Connecticut defensive line doing a good job in the middle of that defense. Well, Rhode Island has done a great job as well. We talked earlier in the game the way their linebackers flow down here with those 44 tackles for loss. That's because these guys do a good job of occupying those offensive linemen and getting up the field.
2nd down and 8. O'Brien, the motion man. He is in there. There's a tight end to block on that run up the middle. Jaden Turner out of Irondequoit High School in Rochester. Tackled by Malachi Burby, the former Rutgers Scarlet Knight. And so now 3rd down and about 3 yards to go. Central Connecticut State down a touchdown.
I revisit that play to Sean O'Brien that they tried on the 4th down.
Okay.
I think this is a good time to do it because you still got 4th down if you don't get it right here.
Plaskin, the motion man. Out of the backfield, they go back to Howard. He's to the 10 and tripped up down at the 5-yard line. Cole Brockwell making the touchdown-saving tackle.
Awesome play calling. You've got a whole bunch of misdirection. You've got the jet sweep action coming across the back of the formation. You got the back going to the opposite area. The quarterback does a good job of allowing the back to get free in the flat. And once he does, he's able to get up the field. He almost got to the end zone on that play, but I love the play design, keeping the defense on their toes.
23 yards on the pass play. They mark him down at the 6. It is 1st down and goal. The Blue Devils knocking on the door. Nowhere to go for Elijah Howard. Again, it's Primrose, Gabe Salamans, who have been so consistent this year for URI.
You have to wonder if Howard's a little out of wind right here. You know, the last couple of plays, he's been exerting a lot of energy, and you saw in that play he did not have a whole lot to try and bounce it to the outside. A good play by the defense. Salamans getting up the field and getting the tackle. But you have to wonder, was Howard a little bit gassed on that play?
Yeah, that 40-yard pickup was his longest of the season. 2nd down and goal. Olsen looking left the whole way, has an open man, he's got him. Central Connecticut State is drawn within a point on the touchdown pass to Isaac Boston.
And this is just a busted coverage. I mean, because Olsen is eyeballing his receiver the entire route. He did not look anywhere. He did not go through any progressions. Watch Olsen. He's looking at him the entire time, the entire time, the entire time. Oh, you're not going to cover him? Okay, I'll throw it to him. I mean, he had no choice but to throw the football. Nobody would go over there to cover Boston.
Well, Boston, he is a grad transfer from Dartmouth who missed the first 4 games of the regular season as the PAT is good to tie the football game. Boston has had multiple surgeries, missed a bunch of time, but Adam Lechtenberg and company so happy to have him healthy as one of their big 3 receivers along with Plaskin and Marsh. This time it's number 8 and White. Like you said, Forrest, nobody was within the same area code of number 8.
And it's almost, you almost looked at Olsen, almost didn't throw the ball where Olsen could get, where Boston could get to it. He had to make an exceptional catch over there. He had to dive almost to make that catch. But if I'm Olsen, you're probably thinking, okay, somebody defensively is lurking right now. He can't be this wide open.
Instead, it's his 2nd touchdown of the day, his 5th on the season. Out of Springfield, Massachusetts. He went to Springfield Central before heading off to Dartmouth, getting an Ivy League degree, and now using his final year of eligibility, coming off of that ACL tear. With the Blue Devils of Central Connecticut State, who are now tied for the first time since it was 0-0 late in the 3rd quarter with a spot in the 2nd round of the FCS playoffs, riding on the outcome here today in Kingston. Is the deep return man for Rhode, back at his own 3-yard line. Silas calls for a fair catch, He drops it, then picks it up and runs. But he had called for a fair catch. So it will be brought back to about the 15-yard line.
The
where the
returner
former
signal
Cyclone
for
from
fair
Iowa
catch.
State.
Ball is over where it was recovered. First down.
Where it was recovered, and so that is where URI will get the football. He got a good bounce, but once you call fair catch, you can't take it back. And so where he recovered the football is where the Rams have it, trying to retake the lead here late in the third quarter. Well, Rhode Island out of the CAA with their first league championship in 39 years. They won the Yankee Conference title back in 1985. Now longtime members of the CAA, and here they are fighting for a spot to play Mercer next Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern down in Macon, Georgia. But the visitors from 90 minutes west of here from Central Connecticut State are not going to make it easy. Helms hands it off. Grant is bottled up. He's in the midst of a big day, but Central Connecticut State defensively was having none of it. Dan Totley, a senior defensive lineman from Trenton, New Jersey, who's just a wonderful story. A sixth-year Ram who donated bone marrow back in February at Georgetown University Hospital in D.C. This came after losing both his brother and his father in about 10 months back in 2021 and 2022. He wanted to save somebody else's life, and perhaps next year he will find out the identity of the person whose life that he potentially saved. Nice job by Helms to find the open man, who is Greg Gaines III. And you can see with his size, his ability to carry would-be tacklers down the field.
Well, what's impressive about this play is Hunter Helms.
First down and 10, final 20 seconds of the quarter. The pass is complete to Marquise Buchanan, who came into this game 19 yards shy of 1,000 receiving for the year. And he and Malik Grant are now the first wide receiver running back combo in Rams history to both gain 1,000 yards in the same year. Congratulations to this URI offense. The numbers are impressive, but the only number they want is on the scoreboard. We head to the fourth quarter tied at 14 with a spot in the second round of the FCS playoffs riding on the outcome. Malik Grant, Hunter Helms and company trying to lead the way. We head to the fourth quarter here at Meade Stadium. Coming up right after this. You're watching the FCS playoffs on ESPN. The 2024 Division I Football Championship has just gotten underway. Today we are in Kingston, Rhode Island. The Rams trying to retake the lead, but that pass is broken up on a wonderful diving stop. Chris Jean once again making a big play in that defensive secondary for the Blue Devils.
And I'm still looking for the double move. The way these defensive backs for both teams are jumping these short routes, I think the double move is something we should see. I don't know if we will, but game plan wise, I think it's something that both offensive coordinators need to look at incorporating right now.
So now on third down and 2, do you go back to Grant on the run?
Absolutely, try and get him to the outside. And I would go down to the bottom of the screen, to the boundary side, the short side of the field.
He has been the big play guy so far today. That's his 19th carry for 195 yards, but it looks like he's going to come up about a foot or two short thanks to Jalen Howard.
And I really think about going for it right here. This is win or go home at this point. And this is when you have to challenge your offensive linemen. They are not getting movement at the point of attack. If you see, Central Connecticut is doing a good job of hitting first, making first contact, and getting pushed at the point of attack. There's no movement by the offensive line from Rhode Island, but I would have seriously considered going for that and challenging my offensive line to get me a yard.
And instead, Devin Walter, the punter from Concord, North Carolina, stands at his 31-yard line, with Michael Plaskin back deep to receive for Central. Fair catch. And the Blue Devils get it back at about their own 12-yard line. The NCAA FCS championship coverage continues next weekend with second-round games beginning Saturday on ESPN+. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. And at this point, the Rams and the Blue Devils hope to be part of that coverage. They will be on at 3 o'clock next Saturday at Mercer. The winner of this game will head south for a second-round game. The other team will see its historic season come to an end. For Central Connecticut State, this is a team picked last in the preseason in the NEC. They have rattled off 4 consecutive wins to get to this point, and now we're 14 minutes away from potentially making it to the second round.
Something I expect Central Connecticut to pick up on as well is Rhode Island has brought Frederick Millay on that corner blitz several times, but when they do that, the safety has to come over and cover that receiver on the outside. What I would do if I'm Central Connecticut, I'd just run a quick stop route, get it to my receiver, and feel comfortable that he can beat that safety one-on-one in the open field.
Now trips to the right. The lone receiver on the bottom of your screen is David Pardo. Throwing right, incomplete, pass off the mark. Intended for the tight end, who was unable to make the catch.
And the quarterback has to help his tight end on that play. You've got to set your feet. Olsen didn't set his feet on that play. He's throwing off his back foot. Set your feet. Get the ball to your tight end where he can squeeze the football and try and make the play for you.
Micah Heck unable to make that play, so it brings up 3rd down and 9. Donnie Marcus in at running back, the senior from Brownsburg, Indiana. O'Brien motions right. Incomplete. Cameron Owls unable to make the diving catch, and he is slow to get up.
And he felt awkward on this play. The way he came down on his shoulder.
Did his head hit the turf as well?
Mm-hmm. Great to see him be able to get up and walk off the field.
Yep. Young man back in his home state of Rhode Island for this playoff game. Hayden Clark standing in his own end zone to receive the snap. Senior punter from Tolland, Connecticut. Takes the low snap and gets rid of the football. End over end. Harris turns upfield. He's got some room to run. With his speed, you've got to always account for him. And when he gets a little bit of daylight, he can go. Taken down at the 30-yard line.
And there's that guy, touchdown Tommy again, 81 with the key block on the outside to spring him to be able to get that ball up the field. And we talked about it. Touchdown Tommy's kind of all over the field, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Watch 81 on this play. You'll see him to the left of the screen. Right there, great block on the outside.
And that's why he's first-team all-conference special teams. Leads this Rams team with 9 special teams tackles. Also making a key block as well. So the Rams trying to retake the lead, have the football with a short field. Starting at the 32-yard line, into the hands of Grant. Whistle finally comes. His forward progress will take him to the 28-yard line.
And that was from the old school playbook of football. That was student body right. They pulled everybody to the right side and around. I love the old school format of that play right there. That's what we don't see a lot of, Doug. You need to see some of that. Like I said, line up in the I formation on some of these short yardage plays. Get back to old school, hit you in the mouth football.
Those big boys up front, Buxton, Alexander, Robinson, Cooper. Brock Bethea, who the offensive coordinator said, we found him on Twitter. We stumbled upon big Brock Bethea, number 79, on Twitter. It's 2024. That's how you recruit nowadays, apparently.
And I love that number 79. Only greats wear that number right there, buddy.
Third down and 4. Again, the field goal unit for Rhode Island has not been very good this year, with only a long of 38 yards, so I would think this is definitely 4-down territory.
It's something to take a look at. Jacob Otts is now playing at left tackle position.
Number 72 in there instead of DeFeo. Over the middle, caught. It's a first down. He only had to get to the 22. Instead, it's all the way to the 15-yard line for Sean Harris.
And a great job by Otts on that play. You saw him kick out for the kick step to block the outside pass rush. He was able to redirect because he sat down in his hips and get the inside rusher picking up that TE twist that they were trying to do from Central Connecticut.
Nice job by the redshirt junior from Jacksonville, Florida. After the 11-yard gain for first down with 11:11 to go, it's a straight-ahead run up the middle for plenty of yardage. It's Gabe Sloat inside the 10. Well, it's 6 feet 205. He's got enough size and enough guts to run between the tackles.
And what I love about him, he walked on to the team and earned his keep, earned his scholarship. And this is a guy that just loves the game of football.
Playing his 46th career game as a Rhode Island Ram.
And a local kid at that.
Out of North Kingston, he has scored 4 career touchdowns. He would love to make it 5, but not on that one. Low man wins. Kamal Clark stepping up from a safety position to make the stop.
And one of the things that we've talked about, the way these defensive backs are broke on some of these footballs and done a good job in coverage, they also play as well down in the box. You don't see many defensive backfields where the third-level defenders play as well in the box as these third-level defenders have played for Central Connecticut University.
Well, this is a Central Connecticut defense. It's the exact same starting unit that they had week 1. They spent the summer getting bigger and stronger, and it has paid off for defensive coordinator Ron DeGravio and company. Out of the Wildcat. Touchdown, Tommy. Into the end zone. Rhode Island retakes the lead. Well, he was a high school quarterback. He plays H-back. He plays fullback. He plays tight end. If you asked him to play defense, he would play defense. Another one of the 6-year Rhode Island Rams with a huge touchdown.
All he has left to do is coach the team and be the athletic director and then the school president. I mean, he's doing it all, man. You got to love him. He blocks on special teams. He catches the ball. You know, he plays the Wildcat quarterback. You know, he embodies what this program has become and what they're building towards.
Second career rushing touchdown. Only the 3rd time this year he has run the football. Out of the hold of Devin Walter, Ty Groff for the point after. (21-14). Rhode Island back in front.
Offside. Defense. Penalties decline. Result of the play is the try is good.
Touchdown Tommy was recruited as a walk-on to play quarterback. And when Patrick Murphy, the offensive coordinator, got here to URI, he said, well, I think it's going to work better if you move to tight end and we use you in other ways. They're using him in a lot of ways today to their benefit. Rams up a touchdown. Rhode Island has retaken the lead on the touchdown run, a 6-yard run, the longest of his career by touchdown. Tommy Smith. And for all the other things he does, they use him in so many different things and packages, and a gadget guy. He also apparently has a really good sense of humor.
You know what? Young players watching this football game need to understand, because he does so many things on the football field, he puts himself in a position to play at the next level.
And special teams is that thing that will get you there, and he is leading the charge on kick coverage. Jaden Turner is stopped shy of the 30-yard line. And so now how will the Blue Devils respond with a spot in the 2nd round at Mercer next Saturday on the line? Do the Blue Devils have it in them to have a sustained drive here to retie the football game.
I think this is a drive where you need to score. You need to score a touchdown. They have to be very careful, though. You don't need to try and get it all on one play. Take your time, run your offense, but you've got to get the ball to your playmakers in space to allow them to try and make plays for you.
And their primary playmaker today has been the running back Elijah Howard. He had other opportunities to transfer from Virginia Tech, but Central was the only place that wanted him as a running back. There's a big play caught at the 40-yard line. Winning his one-on-one battle to get the football is Paul Marsh Jr.
And that is trust right there, because Marsh was not open. But what Olsen did is he anticipated where Marsh would end up. And if he doesn't throw this ball when he does, that will allow the safety to get across the field, Emmanuel Gomes. So a good job by Olsen releasing that ball, anticipating where Marsh would be. And Marsh did a good job of getting between the ball and the defender.
35 yards on the play for the big play receiver who was #1 in camp. Got banged up, had a big week last week. Now back on the ground to Howard to the 20-yard line before being tackled. It's another first down for Central Connecticut State. Sean Falloy, a sixth-year Ram, appearing in his 41st career game with the big tackle.
And now you're starting to see movement. You see number 64, Jonathan Cooler, the center, get up on those second-level defenders and cover up those linebackers. That allows Howard to do what he needs to do in the middle, the gut of that defense. When those guards and center can climb up to the second level, it gives him the lanes that he needs.
Howard behind Olsen in the pistol. Handed off to number 7 in white. Stood up, dropped after a short gain by Devin Hightower, former Michigan State Spartan, who spent also a couple of years at the University of Cincinnati, making a nice one-on-one tackle there. 2-yard pickup, bringing up second down and 8. There's a good look at Hightower out of Twinsburg, Ohio. After both sides allowed to make substitutions, huddle broken by the Blue Devils. Olsen on the screen pass to the running back. Inside the 10-yard line, Donnie Marcus. And it's another first down. It'll be 1st and goal for Central Connecticut State.
Great play with the misdirection. Everybody thought he was going to his receiver in the flat. On the right side of the formation, he goes back to the other side of the formation to Donnie Marcus. He has a convoy out there. He's almost able to get the ball over the line to the end zone for the touchdown, but a good job by the defense recovering and not allowing him to get into the end zone.
Clock continues to run. Boston, the motion man, handed off up the middle to the 5-yard line. Malachi Burby making the stop on Donnie Marcus.
And right now, Doug, this is when I'm challenging my offensive line from Coach Lechtenberg and his staff. Coach Jeff Ambrosi, this is why you push the sled. This is why you work out in the weight room in the offseason. You prepare yourself for these opportunities. You should be able to drive the defenders back. Low man wins, basically a 4-point stance. Uproot those guys, push them back into the end zone.
2nd and goal inside the 5-yard line. You go back to the NEC's all-purpose yardage leader. You do. Rhode Island was ready for it. Howard tackled after maybe a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd down and goal at the 4-yard line.
I'd like to see Howard plant that foot and bounce it to the outside. With his jump cut ability, I think if he plants that foot, he'll have those linebackers flowing downhill. He'll be able to jump cut to the outside, and I think he's got the speed to get to the pylon, especially if they run it to the field side, to the right side of the formation. I would go left side heavy and run the ball to the right side of the formation.
Big number 99, Wesley Neal, with a big stop. 4-down territory?
Absolutely.
With just over 5.5 minutes to go, looked like a busted play, and it goes nowhere. I think his knee was down before releasing the football. Yes, indeed, that's going to be a sack. Brady Olsen takes the sack with 5:30 and counting.
His knee was down prior to releasing the pass. 4th down.
And That's A.J. Pena who gets to the quarterback again.
I don't understand why you're running play action. You know, there's not a whole lot of field to cover right here. He's running play action. There's no back there to fake it to. Release it right now. You've got to get rid of the football right now. You had the back in the flat. You've got him one-on-one outside with a defender. That is what you're looking for. He held onto the ball too long, trying to get it all. Get it to the back and allow him to make the play for you. You don't necessarily have to make the play as far as throwing a touchdown into the end zone.
Gomes and Pena with the sack to force an 11-yard loss in the field goal attempt. That is good by Barnum. Not what Central Connecticut State wanted, but they do at least get points out of the drive and pull back to within 4. Time is of the essence with 4:47 remaining in the fourth quarter. URI head coach Jim Fleming wrote a letter of thanks to the fans here in Rhode Island for their tremendous support as their, quote, 12th man. He takes great pride in this program that he took over 11 years ago that, in his words, was on life support. You want to show your pride right now with a spot in the second round of the NCAA playoffs on the line? Hold on to the football for the next 4:47 and punch your ticket for round number 2.
And I think the fans have received that letter. You see with the showing out here today, we've got a packed house on a holiday weekend, so that lets you know how much they support this program.
And the students aren't here. They are on break, so even more so a near-capacity crowd here at Meade Stadium, hoping that the Rams can hang on. Meanwhile, Central Connecticut State, down 4, kicks it off. Silas picks his way across the 25-yard line. We'll be back and see if the Rams offense can possess the football for a win. Four minutes, 42 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Hunter Helms at quarterback, the senior from West Columbia, South Carolina. And if the Rams can string together some first downs, they will get out of here with a win. Good place to start. Malik Grant, in the midst of a huge game this afternoon, running the football, adds to his total, a pickup of 8 to bring up second down and 2.
And if you're Rhode Island, you're going to take your time. You want to use the entire play clock. You want to make Central Connecticut State start looking at using their timeouts to preserve time. But they've got to get a stop. And if you're Central Connecticut State University, you have to remember you've got the 2-minute timeout as an additional timeout for you, but you've got to get the ball back.
Grant has matched his season high of 204 yards, gained at Bryant last weekend, and now he has a new high and another first down.
And that's key, getting that first down, Doug, because now they've got an additional 3 downs to chop away at that clock. You'll continue to see Rhode Island take their time, go into the huddle. They already know what play they're going to run. They're just going to stand back there and use as much of the clock as they possibly can.
Now the Rams shared the 2024 CAA regular season title with Richmond. The Spiders were the automatic qualifiers into the tournament. The Rams are one of 3 CAA at-large bids, along with Villanova and UNH. 4 bids really good for this conference. Malik Grant, one of the top running backs in this league, 3rd team all-conference, continues to add to his career total.
And you see what Grant did. As opposed to bouncing it to the outside, he planted and got north and south. You want to stay in bounds.
Malachi Wright continues to produce defensively for Central Connecticut. The junior from West Haven in on the stop, along with Tristan Armstrong.
I mean, if they can get a stop here and get it to 3rd down, this is when they should start using their timeouts.
Helms gives to Grant, pushing forward out across the 45-yard line. About a yard shy of the line to gain. It'll bring up 3rd down and a long 1.
And right now, from Central Connecticut State University, I'm using a timeout. Stop the clock. You've got the 2-minute timeout, and you'll still have 2 timeouts if you can get the ball back. But right now,
2-minute timeout.
You've let the clock run down, and you didn't take advantage of it.
With the 2-minute timeout, we will take a break and come back with the conclusion of this first round game. A great game here at Meade Stadium. Adam Lechtenberg is the 2024 NEC Coach of the Year and also named a finalist for the Eddie Robinson Award as the FCS Coach of the Year, one of 15 finalists. He has 3 touchdowns remaining at the 2-minute timeout, and they're trying to get the defense off the field and get the football back, trailing by 4. Direct snap to touchdown Tommy, and his forward progress will move the chains. And then some, still fighting. The 6'2" redshirt senior from Maynard, Massachusetts, willing his Rams that much closer to a victory.
I'm going to go out on a limb right here and say that this guy is going to play on Sunday because he leaves it all out on the football field. I mean, he's run the football. He's caught the football. He's made tackles on special teams. He's been a lead blocker on long runs. He has flashed throughout this football game, and these are the type of players that coaches look for. Football players, not positional players, but football players, guys you could just put on the field and say, hey, go make a play for me.
And isn't the best way for guys like him to find their way into the NFL through special teams?
Absolutely, and he's got really good size, 6'2", 230. So, I mean, he's got muscle mass behind him, and like I said, his willingness to do it all, I think, makes him such a valuable prospect at the next level.
He would love to become the 22nd player in the history of this Rhode Island football program to play in the NFL. But at this point, he's thinking more about let's get a couple of more big plays and finish this thing off. 1st down and 10 after his first down carry. Rhode Island with the football up by 4. Smith, the motion man. Big hole for Grant to the 44-yard line. He is closing in on his career high single-game rushing yardage, which came 3 years ago when he went for 228. Getting close.
48 seconds. 148.
And the danger for Central Connecticut State University right here is you've got everybody up in the box selling out to stop the run. If the back is able to get to the second level, there's nothing left there. And he'll skate into the end zone. So what they've got to do a good job of is covering up those offensive linemen, not allowing them to get up on those 2nd and 3rd level defenders because they're bigger. They can cover them up. They don't have to necessarily have a knockout block, Doug, but if they get in the way, Grant is dynamic enough to cut off of those guys, jump cut, do some of the things that he's done throughout this afternoon and get into the open space and get up the field. So they've got to be extremely careful coming down and packing that box.
Well, we talked off the top about the game in the trenches. And ultimately, as you know, Forrest, former offensive lineman at Florida State, that determines most football games.
And usually the guy that makes contact first is the guy that wins the battle.
Again, same set. Smith comes set. They give it to Buchanan running left. Nice tackle on the edge made by Jack Stoll.
And a good job by Stoll on that play. Because if Grant is able to get away from Stoll, there's no one else there. And he has that open field that I was talking about. They've got to get a stop here. If they don't get a stop here and they allow
their 3rd and final timeout. 30 seconds in lead. Please put 143 on the game clock. 143.
So now the game will come down to this next play.
Basically, if they get this, if they convert this 1st down, the game is virtually over at this point because they'll take a knee. There's no more timeouts from Central Connecticut State University, so they've got to get a stop here. So what you're telling your team right now is you've got to do whatever it takes It's win or go home. We got to get the ball back, and we can't just get the ball back and try and get in field goal position. We've got to get a touchdown, so you've got to tell your team everything that you've done in the offseason. All the cheering that we did last week when we made it to the playoffs, you know, we knew we were getting there because we won the conference, but at the same time, you know, this is it. This is what you do everything for right here. You've got to get a stop and get the ball back to your offense.
Adam Lechtenberg talked about the fact that when he took over the program, the weight room in the summer of 2023 was non-existent. It was being renovated. This team in the last 16, 18 months has gotten into that weight room and gotten stronger just for moments like this, trying to get off the field against Rhode Island. On 3rd down and 4, Malik Grant is hit and dropped behind the line of scrimmage. A big play by Sherrod Watkins.
And it all started with the big fella that has been showing up and showing out all afternoon. Cliff Thompson, number 97, the immovable object in the middle of this defense. You see number 97, there's no movement in the middle of that defense. There's nowhere for Grant to go. He runs into a bevy of defenders waiting on him. And I like this right here by Rhode Island. You know, they're going to go for it.
This allows the clock to continue to run. They can run another 40 seconds off instead of punting it away and maybe get first down here.
Or maybe they call timeout and punt. But there's nothing that Central Connecticut State can do because they have no more timeouts. And it goes back to when they didn't use that timeout before that 2-minute break.
Rhode Island uses their first timeout. 30 seconds in late. Please put 50 seconds on the game clock. 5-0 on the game clock.
So there you go.
Thank you.
Called by Rhode Island with 48 seconds. Now back to 50 seconds. Facing a 4th down and 5. What's at stake? Well, the winner gets Mercer next Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern time down in Macon, Georgia on ESPN+. Rhode Island has never won 11 games in a football season. They could do that if they hang on here for the next 50 seconds. Their 10 wins have matched the record set back in 1984 and 1985, but that was 4 decades ago. It's been a long time for this program. Jim Fleming has brought the respect back here to Kingston, Rhode Island.
And you see Coach Fleming walking up and down the sideline, pacing. You know, he's got to feel like, okay, 50 seconds, guys. All we need is great play for 50 more seconds, and we advance.
His first 2 years, the Rams won 1 game each year. And they will punt. Plaskin sees it go over his head and into the end zone. And so the Blue Devils will get the football, but they have got to go the length of the field, down by 4. Let's show you what the Blue Devils did the last time they had the football.
Well, they did a good job of mixing it up. You see here the long pass down the field. The receiver did a good job of getting in between the defender and him, only being able to make a play on the football. And then Elijah Howard gets going, running the football very effectively. You see right here, they get the ball over to Donnie Marcus. He's almost able to get to the end zone. And then here, I thought was a bad play, a bad decision to try and throw the football. I thought they should have continued to try and run the football, get it to the outside, to the edge, to try and get to the end zone to tie the score up.
From their own 20, junior quarterback Brady Olson stands at his 15, dropping back on first down. Pass deflected in the air, free for it, and the interception is made by Wesley Neal Jr. Big number 99, first team all-conference. He's going to head to the Hula Bowl in January, but in the meantime, he wants his career at Rhode Island to continue for at least 1 more week.
It should be against the law for a big fellow to be able to turn and run like he just did on that play. And they talked about him being too small. I think he is taking that to heart and continue to show up and show out. And watch the big fella right here. He's getting around, he's got the swim move, he spins around, and he looks, he sees the ball up in the air, you see him concentrating and squeeze the football. You gotta love it. And you know what? You gotta know he's a player. He's got a spat. You know, you got a big defensive lineman with his ankles spatted up. First career interception. What a game to have that in.
On the pass deflection from Carson Primrose, Wesley Neal with the pick. And again, he told us this week after the big schools like Syracuse, Miami, Pittsburgh, West Virginia lost interest because of his size. He said, you know what? Rhode was the only school to give me a chance, and it's been going great ever since I got here. The same way high school went for me, the same way college has gone. We went undefeated my last year of high school, and now this, so history repeats itself. Big number 99 secures the victory with the interception. Coach Jim Fleming has his team winning for the 11th time this year to establish a new program record and on to the second round of the FCS playoffs for Rhode. A 200-yard rushing game for Malik Grant. Hunter Helms, the backup quarterback, with his third straight start and his third straight win. The Rams improved to 11-2 and will take on Mercer in the second round next Saturday at 3 o'clock down in Georgia.
And that's to be a very, very interesting ball game against the Mercer Ball Club that has one loss, that loss being to Alabama.
And for Central Connecticut State, a month ago, there were no plans on making it to the FCS playoff, but they rattled off 4 straight wins to close out the regular year to get the AQ from the NEC and get to this point, and they put together a valiant performance and came up just a little bit short.
And they need to hold their heads up high because they had a great season. They just came up a bit short in this football game, but they've got a lot to build on in the future.
And here's a look at the updated bracket. Our first final score from the first round has number 10 Rhode Island advancing to face number 7 Mercer next Saturday afternoon. We'll take a break, come back, wrap things up from Meade Stadium, where a near-capacity crowd enjoyed what they saw of Coach Fleming and his Rhode Island Rams. The first time in nearly 4 decades, the Rhode Island football program has won an FCS playoff game, 21-17, the final over Central Connecticut State. We're pleased to be joined by the victorious head coach, Jim Fleming, who told us earlier this week when you took over the program 11 years ago, it was on life support. You've gotten this far. How does it feel for you to have built the program to this level?
It feels great, obviously. It's been on the shoulders of a lot of great kids and a lot of great coaches. It's not a singular thing. You know, administration, everybody has a piece in this thing. Not real happy with the way we played today, and if we're going to go ahead and keep rolling in this tournament, we better play a lot better. But very proud of our kids and the university, the state. I mean, we really do play for our state and our university, and we're really excited to have a dub, man. You gotta love it.
Coach, people always talk about Swiss Army knife players, but Tommy Smith is definitely a Swiss Army knife. Talk about his play today and everything that he did. He flashed on special teams, offense. I mean, he did everything for you.
You got a great eye, man. I mean, he is a special, special player. I've been saying it all year long. You know, I think he is a guy that has so many different assets. You know, I expect him to play for a little while longer. But what a great addition he is to our program. Walk-on kid, earned a scholarship, and done nothing but produced incredibly this year and in the years past. But the guy he's an ultimate Swiss Army knife, and it's outstanding.
Well, you enjoyed a steady diet of Malik Grant, going over 200 yards rushing for the second week in a row. What about his performance today, Coach?
Well, I mean, we got in at halftime, and I usually let everybody do their thing, but I said, hey, just hand the ball off to the cat and let's see what he can do with it. And, of course, he delivered the mail. He's a very special player and had a great game this game and a great game when we had to get the championship last week. So, you know, just thrilled we got him.
So the historic season continues. You head to Georgia for next Saturday's second-round game against Mercer. What does the next week look like for the Rams?
Normal. Sunday, get them up, get them into a medical check. We go to work. Go on Monday, we practice, and then, you know, one step at a time. We'll get on a plane. It'll be the only difference. So just have to try to go ahead and correct the mistakes and try to be a better football team next week.
Well, congratulations. Keep that off season as far away as possible.
You got that right. That's the whole thing about this. Just keep playing with a bunch of great kids and coaches. So just thrilled to have a chance to play one more.
Sounds good. Good luck next week. That's head coach Jim Fleming. His Rhode Island Rams improved to 11-2 and punched their ticket for round number 2 against Mercer in Macon, Georgia, next Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern time, right here on ESPN+.
And that will be an exciting football game. Like Coach Fleming said, they've got to clean up some things. They face a tough Mercer ball club, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good balance. Offense, defense, special teams. Rhode Island out of the CAA continues its historic 2024 season. Final score, 21-17. Rhode Island takes down Central Connecticut State. Former partner Forrest Conley and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Doug Sherman, saying thanks for watching and so long from Kingston, Rhode Island.